G'day frothers, welcome back to the bench. It's Bolter Downunder here, and today I've got a very special treat for you. Let's face it, I'm just going to say that every time because I bloody love rotary hammers. Anywho, this is the DeWalt DCH172, not sure if you can see that, but anyway, this is the new 18 volt subcompact rotary hammer, XR brushless. They say it's atomic as well. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, let's see how she goes. So finally, DeWalt has released a small rotary hammer. They do have a few others. There are others, as we've seen, are quite light and powerful, but an actual true subcompact, I really like it. This one is 16 millimeter capacity, or is that 5/8? I think it's 5/8. Yep, it is just a little ripper. Look at this thing. So first up, how about that? It's a mode switch. It's not a turny one, it's a flippy one. How about that? Pretty nice. It's got the direction switch up here. Not the biggest fan of that personally, but I'm sure you get well used to it. This one here actually is quite nice. When you're using it, you can kind of just reach over and flip it. If you're using two hands, if you've got the handle on it, you don't need to let go, flip it around there. So it might be a bit of a time saver once you get used to it. So quite nice. I haven't seen that on any other tools so far. And of course, DeWalt's typical yellow and black coloring, but this lovely, can you see that? Lovely bit of sparkle going on in there in the silver. Well, I guess it's grey, but you know, they've made it nice. So it just goes to show, you know, you can be built tough, but you can look good too. Real nice. What else have we got? So nice rubberized front section on the drop motor here. It actually feels quite good to hold it like that. I don't normally hold the little hammers that way. I tend to use the handle, but this one's actually quite good to hold. It is articulated, semi-articulated, so it has vibration control, bit of a thin part there, and of course the pretty flimsy little baffle up there. And speaking of flimsy, well, the depth rod is not actually. They finally got a proper depth rod up there. It is just, yeah, solid. That'll really do the job. Very important for me when I'm doing the rotary hammer testing that we have a solid depth rod. And as you can see, I have to shore it up a bit usually, but this one, solid as. But just like one of the other hammers that I really loved, the DCH173, it's got the wobbly vibration dampening front handle. Look at that. In fact, it's a smaller, more manageable version of this one. So there you go. Very nice. And there, of course, is your just appalling little depth rod rubbish. So glad they've gotten rid of that. So far, superficially, she is a really nice little unit. Very nice. It does have that sort of squarish DeWalt handle, which I don't really find that comfy, but I guess you get used to it. And big vents. You can notice this mesh here. Mesh part here, giant vent on the top. So it does seem to run quite cool. Cooler than the Makitas, I believe. I have done some longer drills with this, and it does seem to run pretty cool, at least in the motor. Obviously where the hammer mechanism is, that's all just sealed up metal, and that does still get pretty hot. Something else nice is it has these little attachment points for the DeWalt retainer system. So that's a little sling that you can screw onto here, and that means you've got something nice to clip onto when you're working at height. Like, I guess that's fine. I usually just do something like that and have for years when I'm doing my recreational geological rope access work. Still quite a nice little addition there. It does have a light. And this little beauty seems to be fully featured for a little rotary hammer. It retails here in Australia for $250, which is, interestingly enough, only 20 bucks less than the DCH133. So once again, the 133 is looking like a real cheap tool. It performs very, very well, but it's quite basic. I mean, it doesn't have the light, doesn't have any, you know, vibration dampening, as we said before. And this is actually quite a new model too. So I have had this for a couple of months, so it has jumped the queue in terms of my rotary hammer reviews because I just really like it and I've been using it a bit and I just wanted to show you. So it was released, or maybe 5-6 months ago in the States, and then released a couple of months after that here in Australia, because obviously it's got to go through the inverter to function properly down here. But anyway, I think that's about all in terms of the features and stuff. Standard DeWalt chuck release up there. Yeah, that's about all. So let's get into the specs. All right, so specs-wise, she has 1.4 impact joules, which is, you know, perfectly fine for a small hammer like this. 4,800 impacts per minute, and supposedly revs at 1060 RPM. So that's something we can check right now. Would you look at that? Bang on, 1062. What is that? A 0.2% margin of error. Very nicely done, DeWalt. And let's see how much she weighs in at 1.8 kilos. Okay, so a bit heavier than some of the other compact hammers I've got, but not too bad at all. Very nice unit. Okay, so the first test, as always, is the torque test. So let's see how hard she can drive some big lag screws into the stump out the back. $13.6. 5.7. 12.1. Okay, so after averaging a few runs, we had 10.47 Newton meters, and that's, I mean, not very much. Understandably, it's a small rotary hammer. Embarrassingly enough, still, it is more than the Ryobi rotary hammer. But interestingly, it's actually a bit less than the little 12-volt Makitas that we tested together in the brushed versus brushless video. So, yeah, there you go. All right, so with the little drills like this, I'm doing a speed drill with a smaller size drill bit. So that's a 8mm drill bit. 8 millimeters is around 1/3 of an inch, I think, and it's more reasonable for a little hammer to be doing smaller holes like this. So all the subcompact hammers will be getting this this test as well. So let's see how fast she can drill 80 millimeters in with one of these. All right, so pretty good, just over 5 seconds. Yeah, not surprisingly, a fair bit faster than the other little Makitas that we tested recently, but bear in mind, those are just 12-volt tools. They will not be able to compete with an 18-volt like this. Now, for the 14mm drill, this is the exact same kind of drill bit that I've been using for all of the drills, so they can all be compared together. So we'll see how she goes against the big boys. Drilling in 100mm here. Let's see how she goes. Alright, so this fairly large drill bit here didn't pose much of a problem at all for this little drill. She actually got faster than the Milwaukee M18CH. So I was a bit skeptical there, so I did double check, and yep, those numbers are legit. I may just repeat that M18CH speed run at some point just to see if that is repeatable. But Anyway, very nicely done. Just over 7 seconds, 7.34 seconds. There you go. All right, so the max capacity test. Once again, using a slightly different bit for the compact rotary hammers. So this is a Makita brand compared to the Renegade I've been using for the other ones. Basically, you know, I just can't get the correct sizes in the Renegade. And plus, I think these ones actually drill better, I find. But irregardless, let's see how she goes with her maximum capacity 16mm drill bit. Alrighty, and once again, she smoked the little 12-volt Makitas. Don't be hating on the teal just by looking at this graph here. They are smaller tools, but very, very respectable. 8.2 seconds at the max capacity. And really, no struggle there at all. Handled it very easily. So I wouldn't recommend exceeding the maximum capacity, but you know, if you ever felt you had to, I'm sure you'd be able to with this little tool, because that was piss easy, frankly. And that is it for the testing. So this little Bumblebee has done really well. As usual, DeWalt has delivered the goods. I am pretty new to DeWalt myself, but I gotta say they are really nicely performing tools. Why don't you chuck us a favor and click subscribe right now, because if I can make it to 1,000 subscribers, I actually am entitled to a cut of the ad revenue. That's right. You still have to watch the ads, but currently YouTube is making all of the money. So if I can make it to 1,000 subscribers, that'll go a long way to you know, paying off some of these drills, and you know, maybe together we can help claw some of the money back from a giant corporation. Anyway, until next time, hooroo, and I'll scratch yous later.